Man, Shinto is thirsty. Look at that dude.
Hello everyone. So today we're gonna talk about the what to play for BP08. So this is the deck list for the decks that are showing my tier list, which is in another video. So for you guys who don't like to watch, like your decks that you want to play being ranked, I make this video separately specifically for you guys. For those who wants to know, how these decks shown are doing, you have to, you have to go back to the other video and see how I rank those decks, or you can go to Shadowverse, and open the meta analysis post, and then as I go through these decks, you guys can have a view on the other screen to see where those decks stands in the tier list. And with that said, let's start off with one Abyss. Okay, I say Abyss, but I forgot one thing. So, um, do note that all the deck lists I'm showing, right, are modded. Okay, maybe not modded. All the deck lists that I'm showing are for ease of learning. They might not be the best deck list. The best deck list to beat your local meta. So always mod the given deck list, or look out for other deck lists that might be stronger. Because really all these deck lists are just to help new players to get the grasp of the deck, what the decks can do easier. Alright. So first of all, we have 2-cost Abyss. This is the aggro variant where we play the Omen of Lust. 2-cost Abyss, right? Basically the reason why the deck is mainly 2-cost is because of these 2 cards from the new set, which is Crimson Rose Queen and Altar Plane Arbiter. Crimson Rose Queens has effects whenever you cast a 2-cost cards when it evolved. So over here, as you can see, whenever you play a card that costs 2 originally, you get to either deal 2 damage to each enemy follower on the field and gain 2, or you deal and deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. Yeah, correct. I was thinking I said something wrong, but yeah. And it recover X play point on evolve depending of the number of 2 play points cards that you reveal. Yeah. So this is one of the new cards. This is the reason why you want to build a lot of 2 costs. Another one is the Arbiter, where it's good when your deck has a high number of a single cost cards. So in this case, since you have a high number of 2 costs, it works very well with this deck, where when the base is that it's a AoE bot wipe depending on how many of the single cost card that you call get sent to graveyard. So if let's say I say 2 costs and I mill 5 2 costs, there'll be a 5 AoE bot wipe. But average you're gonna hit about maybe 3 to 4 lah most of the time. On evolve, it gives you back all these 2 costs. 3 different 2 costs from the graveyard, add them back to hand. And a lot of people will be like, but isn't like 2 costs like cards only good at the starting and not good at the back? Kind of true. This is why these decks have a lot of resource. So you can think of it like, Arbiter gonna get back all the 2 costs. Meanwhile, we have this demon that can flood the board with 2 costs. You have Kiss of Lust that let you draw 2, and I think we also have a Hellblaze Demon. I think that's from the previous set. That's gonna help you flood the board with 2 costs. Yes, a single 2 cost might not be strong late, but having multiple 2 cost cards always trying, you're gonna give opponent a hard time. Like a single end is not gonna be a problem for you, but a buttload of ends, that's where the problems comes, right? So the deck technically works around the same, where I'm just gonna flood the board and try to keep pressuring you turn after turn. And that's where that's where the deck shine. But because trying to close out the game is not as simple. You're very likely gonna use the Crimson Rose Queen. So you do have to delay until your Crimson Rose Queen, which is why Rune Omen of Silence is being played. So the meta, right? There's a lot of spells. Like, Mono Abyss want to play spell, Natural Sword want to play spell, Natural Force want to play spell. Everybody and their mother want to play spell. So Rune Omen of Silence is a very good card to tag in all this deck. In fact, in Japan, if the Abyss deck has space, Rune Omen of Silence is played, and is played mainly for this mainly for the base effect. Well, these cards on the field, any spell opponent plays costs one more, and it really do mess up your opponent's line of play. This is how they try to delay the game, trying to mess up your opponent game plan and delay them until you have enough mana to cast Rose Queen and try to end the game then. And then that's for 2-cost Abyss. And then next we have Mono Abyss. Not much difference, I say. The deck list is almost the same as BP07, except the deck is forced to be a bit more aggressive. So we play Bud Kata, one of the best, I think, card for aggro decks and aggressive tempo decks. And the reason why is because there's this problem where you reach until turn 5, turn 6, turn 7. Some of the other decks will pop off and they'll be a lot stronger at flooding the board than you do. So you are no longer aiming to flood the board until it depends on what matchup you're against lah. But against some of the stronger decks, you might not want to flood the board. You're aiming to be aggressive and then uses mono to try to end the game instead. This is why the deck become more aggressive. Also, this 2 mana card is very interesting because it kills any 2 cost or 3 cost and below, I think. Yeah. Let me open up and have a look. Yes, a little bit lagging a bit. Alright, give me a moment. It does says 3 is so 3 and below. Gonna be a very good card. If you cannot figure this out, then I have something bad to tell you, but it's gonna be a very good card in the meta. So there's one thing to remember. So that will do for Mono Abyss. Nothing much to add. Yeah, basically. So either that it needs to be a bit more aggressive because of the meta. And then next we have Nephthys Abyss, which is the very interesting deck where you are using Nephthys to look at the top 7 also. So meta analysis wise, I've said something a bit wrong. So this is the correct text. I'm not gonna edit the video. But yeah, it's roughly the same idea where you're flooding the board with a lot of followers that cost 6 or less. And all these followers, you have like Kawi, you have I forgot his name, this demon. Where you get to Yuzuki, I think. You get to destroy 2 cards on the field as well. Yes, so this deck, right? Like I said, it's very luck based. Interesting to play. Very good hard removers. The only problem is trying to get to that turn 7. So in order to try to get to that turn 7 and have very bad meals, right? So the deck itself plays a lot of the Machina package, because the Machina itself, they can pull themselves out from the deck, which is very strong. That means you're helping to thin your deck, and in the chance of you hitting the Machina cards when you're playing Nephthys, it's also not that bad because you're just gonna play it for their fanfare and try to pull out the cards out from the graveyard. At the same time, Nicola is a good card in this deck because when you play it, fanfare bury 2 from your deck, which means you mill 2. You also play Last Breath to try to revive followers from the graveyard, and you do have very good targets to revive, like such as Kawi, Yuzuki, even Black Swan. So that's one thing to or even if you mill Nephthys, you can cheat her out on turn 6. So that's the synergy of the deck. And like I say, the same as the 2-cost rune deck. If they have space, they're gonna play Rune Knight, Omen of Silence, trying to delay his opponent game plan so that you can hit the turn 7. Yeah. So the deck basically is a Shadowcraft deck. If you remember, Shadowcraft is the thing. Yeah, very very fun deck to play with. And that's all for Abyss. So after Abyss, we have Dragon. So firstly, we have Disdain Dragon. Our old waifu deck. I think they were from set 5 if I remember correctly. So there's some new supports for Disdain Dragon. Mainly oh, okay. I do have to go to this one here. So because I've already done a what a deck profile for this deck. This is why I don't write a whole paragraph again. You guys can open it up and have the full deck profile. So with the new cards with Zealot of Disdain and Sneer of Disdain, it actually supports the Disdain a lot more. Like they literally able to replace the weakness of the Disdain deck. First of all, Zealot of Disdain boosts more burn damage and give Disdain another starter, which I think they needed a lot, to be honest. And meanwhile, Sneer of Disdain give Galmax a turn earlier to enter in the field. Like in the past, you would like to go second as a Disdain because you really need the evolve point to get Galmax out on the field as early as possible. But with Sneer or Disdain, you're able to get this the Galmax out earlier and evolve her earlier because what you can do is it can banish itself on the graveyard and deal 1 damage to Galmax so that Galmax can just instantly evolve. So that's why these 2 cards are such a huge boost to Disdain. And in the deck list, right, we are running Ferlin and the new Azidaka. They are very good heart removers, which this Disdain main problem where they do not have enough heart remover to deal with big followers. But no longer the case if you are running both Ferlin and Azidaka. And Azidaka is a very very good finisher with base that comes in to destroy something, and when you evolve it gains Storm. Potentially it can hit for 10 damage, but most of the time, it hits for 7 and potentially healing 3 to your leader, which might really change the tile better if you're in a mirror match or in a match against the aggro deck. That healing 3 is gonna change some games, not a lot, but some games it will change the tile better. Meanwhile, I do, like I said, I do play Forte in this deck because there was a lot of mirror matchup in my local meta. However, if you need more resource because your opponent has more ward, where Forte isn't that good against a ward heavy meta, Val Violet Dragon can be a good replacement. And lastly, Dragon Soul Princess is a very good card in this deck. It allows you to dig for your Disdain card more consistently, or even your finisher, because as you can see is Azidaka is Worm King, and if I'm not, Galmax is also Worm King as well. So since it can look at the top 5 and take a Worm King and put into EX area, is a very good searcher. On top of that, if Overflow is active for you, you get to reduce the card cost by 3, which is very very good, meaning that this is a free card. You're playing this for free and you get another card on top that you can play out instantly because maximum is 10 mana, right? And all these followers are very high cost, but because they get -3, you can also play them out and evolve them as if like you haven't spent any extra mana. And that's the best thing about this card, the Dragon Soul Princess. And she actually saved my saved me a few games, to be honest. She's actually very very strong. Yeah, don't underestimate this searcher. And that's all for Disdain Dragon. So yeah, it's still the same old burn, but with a lot better finisher, a lot better heart remover, and a lot better combo synergy because you got a better combo starter and a card that allows you to start your Galmax earlier, which is why I think this deck is going to be very good in this manner. And then next we have PDK Dragon. This is the aggro variant. Um, so first we have okay, so some people might not know, but actually BP07, Disdain Dragon is actually playable. With this card, this 1 mana card. I forget his name, but it was playable. And in PDK Dragon, we continue to see him here. He's good because when he evolve, right, you get to search for a 3 cost or something follower, I think. Do let me double check, right? But wait, I can't read Japanese because so I'm just looking at the cards number. So you basically look at top 3, you put a 1 cost. Is it? Yeah. Anyway, this is one of the better cards in BP07 basically. Then we have Ferlin, also a very strong card from previous set. PDK Dragon comes back because the meta actually is a lot more follower base heavy at the moment, and it still control the board very well. And with some of the new cards, it gets even better. So firstly we have the Dragon Empress Otohime. 4 costs. What it does is it floods the board with all the Otohime Vanguard tokens, which are 2 costs, and a Dragoncraft follower. So it props the PTK, which is very, very good. And on top of that, whenever another Dragoncraft follower is put into cemetery from your field, you can deal 1 damage to enemy follower or leader, which gonna helps you to burn your opponent more efficiently. Which is why this card is seeing some play. And those Vanguard tokens, right, actually have rush. It's a 2 mana 2/1 rush if I remember correctly. So which makes it a good card. Unlike the Otohime ward where you have to wait. The Otohime ward where you cannot do anything and you only can ward and pray your opponent doesn't board wipe. In this case, she comes down, she is technically a board wipe. Very, very strong card. And then next we have Aneros or Enros. I don't know how. I can't speak. Okay, I mean I can't speak when she's around. Anyway, it's a very good card for you to search for Dragon Newts because as you can see, a lot of the decks are Dragon Newt. Maybe you can't see, but this is Dragon Newt, 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 Dragon Newt. PDK is not Dragon Newt. This is Dragon Newt, and this is Dragon Newt. And I think this is the old card as well that synergizes with Dragon Newt. So if I'm not wrong, is whenever a Dragon Newt attack, you can deal 1 damage to opponent's leader. If I'm not very wrong, I'm very sure it's something similar. So the deck itself is an aggro deck where you want to flood the board early and try to aggro your opponent down. It's not really more of a control deck. It's an aggressive deck where Seiyun Skies, Enrose is a good 2 mana 2/2 early on, and it's a very good 2 mana 2/2 evolve, deals 2 damage. Is a very good tempo swing basically for against other aggros deck. This is your typical 2 mana evolve deal 2. But she's good also because during the late game, when you play her, she's not useless. She allows you to look at the top 3 of your deck and review a Dragon Newt card, which is why this card I feel is good because a lot of the good cards are Dragon Newt in this deck. Also, the reason why this deck can work is because despite all the burns and all the early aggression, you still need a finisher, and Azidaka is the godsend of finisher for Dragon in this set. So basically that's about PTK Dragon. Just a bot control deck during the mid game, early aggression, and a good finisher. Pretty good deck. Anything I want to Nope, that's it for PDK Dragon. Okay, next we have Forest. In my meta analysis, I say Puppet Forest have 3 variant. This is one of the variant, the more simplified and more easy to play with. The idea of the deck is just to summon a big bot during turn 5 with Anastasia. The reason why, you know, Puppet Forest is so strong, because the 2 puppets that you make, right, Lloyd the android and Victoria, they are very well statted. Like, imagine like Victoria is a 4-1, you know, it kills a lot of things in the format. And as well as Lloyd, right, 2-4, 4 is hard to remove in the format, which is why Victoria is so strong. And Lloyd's heals 2 as well. The healing 2 is important, as well as it being a ward. Victoria as well, you know, getting rush and a seal. A seal means that you can attack, you know, untapped followers, which is why it's a very good remover, which Forest, you know, is able to do very well. So, however, to get them, you do requires a bit of setup, which you know, we are using all the new cards such as Orchis, you know, Heartless Battle and Zwei to make these puppets out. Yeah, the like I said, the deck itself, you know, in this one is quite simple. Your early turn 1 to turn 3 is just to turn 1 to turn 2 is to create puppet. Where turn 3 and turn 4 is to try to make as much of this puppet as possible. Or actually not turn 3, turn 4. Before you are able to play Anastasia, you want to create as much of this puppet as possible and save them. And then when you play Anastasia, or if you have Elf Song, you know, you flood the board and then you buff them to become very big, and then your opponent will not be able to clear them easily. And and then from there, you know, you have a big board, your opponent cannot clear them. You're just gonna trade well, swing well, and then from there, once your opponent low enough, you end the game with either Orchis or this guy 5 mana that give your puppet storm. You just can imagine, you know, it give Victoria Storm. That's 4 damage to face. That's very pain. I think it give puppet +1 attack as well when they come in, if I'm not wrong. So that's another plus for that card, if I'm not wrong. Let me do check a bit. Yeah, a puppet comes into play, get +1 attack and storm. Okay, and with that said, that will be the Puppet Forest, which is going to be a very strong deck. Next we have Fairy Forest. Not much of a diff. So it's about the same. The only changes is that, you know, instead of playing previously you play Blossom Spirit, which is 3 mana, 2/4, evolve 3/4, and if you have 3 or more fairies in your EX area, deal 4 to an enemy follower, or not, you just deal 2, which is like a very good Dragon Knuckle, which is a 3 mana evolve, deal 4 if you have another armed dragon on the field. Basically, dealing 4 is very good in this game. In that sense, having a 2/4 ward is also very strong, and plus a 2 heal on top of that is even better. So this is why a lot of people drop Blossom Spirit for Orchis Puppet Girl and Orchis Resolute Puppet instead. So you're not gonna evolve to the other one, which is Orchis Vengeful Puppet. You're using it just literally for the Resolute Puppet, where you get Lloyd the token. So that's the only changes in the deck. It makes the deck a bit stronger during the mid game. Yeah, and because, you know, as I said, the meta is no longer as aggro heavy. It makes sense to have the Lloyd instead of having Blossom Spirit potentially evolving and clearing nothing of essence, you know, where the Lloyd can help with Anastasia, Elf Song, you know, to boost back the board. Or even use it to help with the combo count for some of the other cards. So that is Fairy Forest. And then next we have Natural Forest. Also not much of a change, I think. I think most people who played Natural Forest last season will feel that this is a um, very simplified list. The only change we have that we might see, right, is Tutman, Gojo, right? Gojo. This card, right, is a 4 mana search spell. It's not a spell, it's a follower. It's a 4 mana searcher. First of all, you're not losing that much tempo because 4 mana 4/4 is still okay on the stat line. But because, like I said, right, this deck's the most important is being able to find its Ladika and its bot wipe. Tutman able to search for any card actually helps the deck quite a lot. But we won't need 3. I think at most some deck runs 2, but I think 1 is even enough. Because you actually lose a turn by playing him, and the best turn to play him is on turn 4 on an empty board. You don't play him when you need to answer the board. So that's the part where he is not very good at. He does nothing but help you search. You can only search if you are ahead. And that's all for Forest. Like Forest didn't change much. Natural Forest didn't change much. It's still the same idea where I try to build the trees in the EX area for Ladika, and then I try to swing my opponent with multiple Ladika to close out the game and try to heal out of opponent little range as the turn go by with some of the cards such as the tree, or try to remove my opponent cards with some like what's the name again? But with the board wipe and some of the other cards to help control the board. That's about it. Am I happy with? Okay, I think that's about it for Forest. Nothing much else. I'm not going to teach you how to suck it, right? I think most people know how to play Natural Forest already. I'm just giving a bit of what's the changes for Natural Forest. Next we have Haven. We have Amulet Control Haven. This list, right? Was made. It was made lah. Okay, it was made to have in mind where you're gonna have a better mid game, a better late game. So what I do is I added Aegis where some deck doesn't run Aegis. I run Aegis, one of them to help you to close out the game better. And I added this 2 mana spell to help you deal against aggro better. So if your local meta doesn't really have any aggressive deck, this spell can go away for I think submat will be better, or even something like another what's that, another of these Uma card will be better as well. So the reason why this deck is good is because the deck has a lot of very good heart removers. So first of all, we have this new card, Eidolon of Madness, that on Evolve you can just banish a opponent follower, which is very strong in the mana, because a lot of their followers, a lot of the decks, right, don't want their follower to be banished. Example, Mono Abyss don't want their Machina to be banished because it will mess up with their Machina count. Disdain Dragon, you do not want to banish some of their 2-cost cards, because banishing those 2-cost cards means that they cannot bring back with Galmax. As well as 2-cost Abyss. Banishing some of those 2-cost Abyss, you cannot bring back with Arbiter, things like that. So banishing heart removal is already very good, and banishing them is even better. Meanwhile, Submat is a very good card because it deals 4. And comboing with Eidolon of Madness, you're able to deal 4 damage to a follower and then deal 4 damage to a leader. That's a very good amount of damage. But it's not a lot of damage. It's just a good amount of damage. Meanwhile, you also have another card, another new card this set, Godsworn Alexia. Does good amount of damage and heal good amount of health as well. Fanfare Give Leader plus X health. X equals to 2 times the number of amulet on the field. And on evolve, it does the deal damage 2 times equal to the number of amulet on the field. So this is where, you know, a big swing of health gonna happen with her, and this will keep you in the game or keep your opponent low enough for you to try to close out the game with, you know, this submat combo, or you know, dropping the Aegis will help you to close out the game. We play Aether of the White Wing to be able to get out, you know, your finisher battles. Like we play Magiro to help you, you know, get back some of the amulet or even destroy some of the amulets to prop their effect. Basically, this Eidolon of Madness. Yeah, the deck has very good heart remover as well. Yeah, so there's that for Haven. So next we have Sword. Starting off with a natural Sword. Not much diff except for a new card, Aether of the Warrior Wing. So some people actually try like playing Gemstaff Commander in BP07 to try to go get Balion. A lot of people didn't really like that card because you know, 3 mana 3/2, the 2 HP is easily removed. The reason why they play Gemstaff Commander is because the Gemstaff Commander, if you are forced to go first, because in a matchup a lot of people will force you to go first, the Gemstaff Commander can easily help you get out Balion. Now, right, we have a upgrade of a Gemstaff Commander, which is a 3 mana 2/3, a bit harder to remove, and on top of that, at the start of your end phase, if at least 7 Swordcraft follower is in your cemetery, give each follower on your field +1/+1. Very good. I mean, it is a very good card. It's search for a commander officer, almost the same as Gemstaff Commander. At the end of turn, give +1/+1 to the board. Sheesh. We got a Gemstaff upgrade right here. And to be honest, that's it for the deck. Like, we literally add 1 card to it. And it's a replacement for Gemstaff Commander. Some people, you know, previously might not like Gemstaff Commander because they find it useless. But now, you know, you got a better Gemstaff Commander and it's a lot better to play, which I think most people will add it back to their deck to make sure that, you know, if they happen to go first, they are able to get their Balion more consistently. And because, you know, the meta has slowed down, you don't really need to add more cards to stop the early aggro. You can focus more on your Balion turn 4. And then next we have Thief Sword. This is the variant that I like. So if you go to the some of the website that shows all the old deck lists of Thief Sword winning, you might realize that, you know, a lot of them goes for mid range. Playing Leonidas, playing Alexander, or even the new the card with the amulet combo. I forgot what is it. Those are not what I think the deck should be playing. What I think the deck should be playing is more like this, with the IMAS aggro package with the Thief Usurpation package. Because I feel like, you know, the Dance of Usurpation, right, is introduced to help close out the game, and acts as a good board wipe for Sword if you're playing Usurpation. Like for 4 mana, able to deal 8 damage divided on the board is actually good enough, but you require at least 10 cards in your opponent's cemetery. And if they have 20, it also deal 8 damage to each enemy leader also. It's a very good card to close out the game. If not, you also have your, you know, this 3 mana to deal 5, which is also quite strong. So why I want it to be aggro, because in the meta, right, I feel like a lot of deck will forgo the anti-aggro cards to help strengthen their mid game, because turn 5 to turn 7 is where most deck pops off at the moment. So you always want to get this Zealot, I think. Is it Zealot? No, this is Zealot, the Disciple of Usurpation, I think. This 1 mana card, try to swing as much damage with him as much as possible. With this new spell, you're able to mill 3. you just imagine this becomes a 2-2 and becomes a 5-2 on turn 2 that can swing. If you have two of this, you're swinging like what 8 damage on turn 2. Is very crazy. And with the IMAS package, right, this gonna help you push more damage during the early game. So that's one thing I prefer, pushing damage early game. And then the reason why I also prefer the IMAS package, because not only do you have Dance of Usurpation, you also have Rin Shibuya to try to close out the game. As you can remember, if you have Rin Shibuya and this card, right, you're able to deal 5 damage to your opponent face. And why I prefer this variant is because the IMAS, they can call themselves, they can take themselves out from the deck, which means you're thinning your deck. So you're more likely to hit your finisher, or even like other cards, usurpation card that actually provide more value, so you don't really draw deck cards. So this is why I prefer this variant of Thief Sword. Black Panther is there very good because you're able to get back Mio Honda always, or even your Omen of Usurpation back, and then free evolve, and then steal your opponent card, things like that. So this is a very good deck to play for players who want to play aggro. I think there's no better aggro decks at the moment in this set. And that's all for Thief Sword. So next we have Rune, and we start off with Lishana Rune. The deck playstyle is very easy. It's easy to execute, but hard to execute it's hard to execute properly. So mainly what you want is you want to be able to drop out Lishana early, and then try to heal off her amulet, and then try to control the early to mid game, and then on turn 8 play Unbodied Witch, which will allow you to draw your whole deck except for last 5 cards. And then if let's say you you have to discard to your hand, max size hand, right, at the end of the turn. And then next turn, let's say you draw your Giant Chimera, you can just play the Giant Chimera for 7 mana, and most likely it will deal Spell Chain 20 and deal 10 damage to your opponent's leader. Because you also have another amulet that keep burning opponent health, right? You are hoping that you're gonna burn your opponent to litter. Or if Giant Chimera is actually in the deck, you can actually play Daria on turn 9 and evolve Daria. And because it's the last 5 cards of your last 5 cards in the deck, right? And Giant Chimera will be in it. You can actually reduce 5 to Giant Chimera for it to become 2 cost, and play Giant Chimera for it to deal 30 damage, because Daria is on the board. Followers in your graveyard counts towards the spell chain. So most likely you will hit spell chain 30 and deal 30 damage to your opponent, and just outright OTK your opponent. So Lishana Rune is a very strong deck when it comes to the late game. Do require a bit of the luck. One thing I want to add is that I didn't write in this, but some of the spell, right, Lishana spell actually burns your opponent damage, burns your opponent health as well, which is gonna be good for you, because bringing them lower means that you can always try to end with the 10 damage with Giant Chimera. Also, one thing is that this list, right, I built it to counter against aggro, because it's better for you to have answer than no answer, right? So it's built more towards aggro. There's some hard removers such as this 5 mana and this 3 mana deal 5. They are better to remove bigger followers on the board. So if let's say your local meta isn't that aggressive, you can actually take out the Fire Chain to play Rhyme Wind, as you can bounce those followers back to hand, because most of those followers that's hard to remove currently in the meta aren't evolve followers. Yeah. So actually Rhyme Wind is also a good way to counter those decks. And maybe you want to up maybe discard to 2, or having another bot wipe is always good, because this bot wipe is actually having another bot wipe is good, because this meta there's a lot of decks that will try to flood the board. And then next we have Kuan Rune. Kuon Rune, like I said, this variant is much more for ease of learning. There's also another style which focus fully on outright trying to combo off. So there's a variant where they are playing brainstorm, playing the new card in BP08 that helps you to get cards in your from your try to get cards from your hand into the graveyard faster to build up spell chain. That list, right, is a bit harder to play, and you need to know that if your local meta doesn't play aggro, then you can play that play style where it's just Exodia, where you try to get cards into your graveyard as fast as possible for you to, spell chain enough for cool on and de-shift to win the game. This variant is made more for general matchup where decks, there's some aggro deck, there are some mid-range deck. So yeah, keep that in mind. So in this list we are playing the new Veridic Discovery, which helps the deck, be a bit faster, because the ability to draw 2 and then discard a card help build up your graveyard. And basically it just replaces itself, right? 2 mana replace itself. It's a quick card, which is good because at the end turn you have nothing to do, you just play this. And you get to choose what card you want to discard. You can either discard a useless card in hand, or you can, discard one of the cards that you draw that you find less useful in your matchup. So a very good cards in the deck, and it helps, Kuon to be faster, so Kuon kind of stay relevant in the meta. Other than that, there's not much to add to this deck list, because I think a lot of people who know how to play Kuon is already playing Kuon, and this girl, right, I think this is from last set as well, so most probably people are already using her. Yeah, so maybe the one thing that I see is that people are playing this Unshackle monster again. I think it's mainly because the meta has a lot more ward, and you want to flood the board as with many big followers to try to beat through the ward now. So there's one thing to remember. I think one thing that changed in Kuon Rune as well. And with that said, that should be the end of Rune. End of the whole deck list as well. So if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment what do you think of this video. I appreciate some feedback. If there's no feedback, I do not know if I'm doing right or wrong. Feedbacks are very good, and try to give me a constructive feedback. Don't tell me all these videos suck. Then I'm like, what do you mean this video sucks? what am I doing wrong, right? So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys wherever I see you guys are. All right, goodbye.